Oh yeah, Vic.
Welcome back to Nothing But Net. We were just on a short ad break. Everyone was just preparing their weapons. Sorry, my voice
Not
is
even. Ain't nobody even have weapons.
Brian,
bro.
I'm trying to talk.
Not even. Bro.
All right, guys, let's get into the crux of the matter. Let's talk Game 7. Okay, let's talk Game 7. I don't have a preamble. I don't have too much to intro on. Once again, let's pass the rock gently. Give it to guys in their spots, high post, low post, the Jordan 45. Let everybody work, run your pick and rolls. Let's just distribute the ball, okay? And what I'm going to do is...
Like the Joker.
Oh, okay. Well, easy. Calma. But I'm gonna throw a full court. I'm gonna throw a full court one to Breezy. Brian, I mean, I think it is only appropriate that you kick us off, or that you tip
Full
us
court's
off.
not fair because I feel like I gotta go straight to the bucket. I need some.
You
some
always go straight to the bucket.
Breezy wants the.
I need some
Breezy wants the
isolation.
inbound. He needs to cross over the whole team.
Let's
Okay,
move
I
the
hear
rock
you.
a little bit and bring
24
it back to
second
Breezy.
shot clock, sir.
Look, I'm gonna speak about Game 7, right? I've got a lot to say about Kawhi Leonard in his personal capacity as an individual, but I'm gonna start with Game 7.
I'm so
Bro,
scared.
Game 7 was Game 6 and Game 5 all over again. It's not even different. Every single time the Clippers were up 16, they lost the game. What does that mean? I don't even understand what that is. Every single time these guys were up, I can't even say it again. Kawhi Leonard showed up in the first couple, right? He was there. He was good. In Game 7, the biggest game of their careers, the biggest game, this guy had I'm not going to go into my speech. It's not about Kawhi. It's about the Clippers. Williams.
Keep holding himself back.
George, Kawhi Leonard. Who else on that team? Doc Rivers. Who else even plays for that team? These guys, all of these guys sort of tried to run their own set. In the fourth quarter of Game 7, when the Clippers were up 2, no, they were already down, I'm sure, going into that quarter because they were just down all game. Kawhi Leonard didn't have a single set run for him for 7 minutes. Not a single set. It would be Paul George going up, run the ball, move it to the side. Somebody's open, shoot the shot. Missed the shot. Okay, back to the other side. Okay, defensive stop. No, Jamal Murray lit them up. And then came back to next possession. Same thing happened. Paul George would move the ball to the wing. Paul George get the ball back in the baseline. They'd find that green dude on the 3, shoot the ball, brick. Back to the other side. They kept playing tennis, but the other team kept scoring every single possession. It was ridiculous. Every time they double team Joker, they would have a 3-point shooter open somewhere, anywhere in the world. And Joker is the biggest, longest passer the NBA has ever seen and the best passing big man of all time. They try to double team him. Someone's open. Bang.
Right.
It was crazy.
I'm like you've just become like LeBron James, bro. Memorize every play, every action.
Chris, it was ridiculous. Every single time something happened, I was more shocked than the previous possession because it kept getting worse. I couldn't be but no, look, those Clippers are pretenders. Those Clippers have been pretending since they put themselves together. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both had the opportunity to play with LeBron James and the Lakers. They said, nah, we're going to beat you. They couldn't even beat him. They could barely beat Luka Doncic on one leg without Kristaps Porzingis. He gave them a 40-piece 3 times. And then they went and dropped the same 40-piece to Jamal Murray. Those guys are, whatever. Those guys must move out of the Staples Center. Tomorrow. They must leave.
Shaq said that...
I saw that, yeah.
Did you see? He said, "I'm tired of you guys using our facility." And so when the Clippers play, they cover up the retired numbers. So Shaq said, "Nah, bro, you guys need to stop this. You guys been leasing.
Your own 16. Don't cover up the only 16 in the house, B. What you mean? What you mean?" Look, the Clippers need to. The Clippers gave up 5 first-round picks. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo for Paul George. That's okay. Paul George has a 2-year contract. They sold 5 years of their future for 2 years of a guy who couldn't average more than whatever. Chris, dog, take a lob, dog. Take a lob. Take an alley-oop, homie. I don't have anything.
Take a
an
lob.
alley-oop, bro.
My man.
Chris, he gave it to
Chris.
you, bro. He said go.
You have
did
the
he pass
rock.
it? I didn't even hear that. All right, so
Alley-oop,
listen.
Chris, you gotta
Give me an alley-oop.
Paul George, right? I know I spoke on his behalf earlier because he went through a traumatic experience in that Dallas series with Seth Curry being married to his ex and his ex-baby mama who he cheated on. Traumatized. Wow. I get it.
Okay.
Right? I gave him a pass in the Dallas series. He came up a little bit, showed something, but as much as I want to blame Paul George, as much as I want to go after Kawhi Leonard for obviously his poor performance, I absolutely have to bash my man Doc Rivers. Like, are you kidding me? Yo, you were 3-1 up. You were the favorites from the beginning of the season, right? They were the favorites. Yeah, you didn't even make the conference final. Yo, how many times has he failed, man? How many times has he had a great team? He had Chris Paul, right? Blake Griffin. Bulla and I were talking about this earlier, man.
DeAndre Jordan as well.
I think even T-Mac you mentioned earlier.
T-Mac.
And what
Orlando.
I can't wait to hear Bullet's top on Doc.
Yo, come on, man. Are
I'm
you
gonna burn him
kidding me?
alive.
And he had the biggest advantage, bro. You've got Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG. Come on, man. Come on. So first and foremost, before I go after these guys, I'm gonna give them a break for maybe 5 minutes until I can calm down, and then I'll go after them. But yo, Doc Rivers, he gotta go. He's done.
Chris, is that you, bro? Can I go, bro?
Bola, please elaborate.
Behind the back. Behind the
Okay.
back. My boy about to do some.
First of all, I don't like how you guys pick and choose which players get protected.
Yes.
When other players shit the bed, they don't talk about the coach. They talk about the player. I'm going to get to the coach, but let's start with the actual problem, the player. The best player, the closer, the cyborg. Bro, the guy
the best
is
defensive player of all time.
100%. He plays the whole season. He probably has got like one of the most efficient shots. That mid-range jumper, it's unstoppable. He's strong. He bodies you, then he pulls back. The man took 2 of those shots in the fourth.
Yeah.
2. The shot that he's been training the whole offseason, during the regular season when he decided to play, and every round, every game, every quarter, in the fourth quarter, when it matters, he takes 2.
Nothing.
The first one. I'm not even done with him yet, right? That's him. Second, you cannot, the man is not a leader. He's not a leader. The man played with Duncan and them, got a chip. Didn't have to be a leader. He got to Toronto. Carl Lowry is a leader. The man can just keep quiet and do nothing. He comes to a team. There is no culture. And he has to set the culture. And because he can't speak, and there's no other voice. There's no other voice of experience. It's only him. And the guy you say is going to lead your team can't communicate. He can't communicate. Like it's an absolute shit show.
That's actually a very good point.
I never.
And then next you got Doc Rivers. Again, everyone in NBA loves him. He's a great coach. He's also not a leader. The only time he got a chip, he had the greatest leader of all time, Kevin Garnett, leading his team. He was the one chatting to everyone, making sure that the rah-rah speakers that he hates. Everyone else, nothing. Doc Rivers, you have a game plan. Fair enough, you played 2 series, you made no adjustments. This time, I'm happy you make an adjustment, but you trapped Jamal Murray and you let the best passing center ever go 4 against 3 on the backside. And when every guy starts knocking down threes, you don't change it.
And then they start knocking down. Then they start cutting to the hoop. Yeah.
What is the thinking here? And then as soon as Joker starts getting hot, you put shorter guys on him. Then he starts getting more shots. Jamal Murray. Oh, sorry. Kawhi Leonard, I'm not done with you, actually. You're the best defensive player in the league. Ever. Some people say ever. Every young gun who's probably on their first contract is putting 40 pieces on your team the whole time. Every young gun on his first contract is dropping 40 pieces regularly against you, sir. Antetokounmpo, we went after him. for when Jimmy buckets, you refuse to guard him. But the best defender doesn't want to guard anyone. Guys, Chris K will be the first guy to burn LeBron James about his defense. Let's burn the guy who's the best defensive player. How about that?
Boy, give me that bounce pass. I will set off. I will light him up right
at the end of the day, when the game is in the fourth quarter and there's the best player and he's going off, I know my guy goes and guards him. He doesn't switch. He guards him. He lets. I mean, bro, like this guy, like he just. Sorry, I'm on my rant. I'll just give you 2 more minutes. Paul George, bro, this guy's a joke, bro. Like Brian even said it, bro. You had the chance, bro, to play with a legitimate leader, bro. You are guaranteed chips, bro. Come play with Brian. He's gonna show you the light, bro. And you said nah. You said nah. You're standing on the 3-point line. You're alone, bro. You hit the side of the backboard in the fourth quarter.
Top corner.
Are you serious? Are you serious, bro? Bro, the guy, he's a joke, bro. He's a joke. The whole playoffs, and bro, I respect him. He says he's going through some mental health things, and I would assume that being confined like that might play a role. But bro, like, it can't. When you play good, it's fine, and when you play bad, it's not. I mean, for me, if you're staying, I'm gonna judge you on your basketball only. Lou Williams, fair enough. Man of the year. Man can't guard anything, bro.
It's those wings, man.
I mean, it's crazy. Their whole roster is constructed with guys who are one-dimensional, except for 2 guys. Pat Beverly is a defender. He's a liability on offense. Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams are great offense, liability on defense. So you can't play these guys together. Like, I mean, it's a ridiculous situation. Lou Will, you come in, bro. They're supposed to affect the game, but they have to take you off because you're a liability. And at least if you're going to be a liability on defense, bro, put up on the other side.
Make buckets. Yeah, I was going to say make buckets.
I'm not even done, but I mean, I feel like I'm chatting alone. Like, bro, like,
come back.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry.
Dude,
and then watch. Then wait, watch.
Bro.
Sorry, last thing, bro. When LeBron wins this thing, the whole conversation about because we're in the bubble, championships have an asterisk is going to come back. That conversation hasn't happened, but that's going to come back. Watch. God damn it. Find a way to diminish my boy winning. Watch, it's coming. It's coming. It's garbage.
BZ don't know how to make a pass. Make a pass, B.
Oh, man. Must I?
Sorry, bro.
Sent it back to Laser, right?
Los? You, bro.
Okay. Oh, wow. What was that?
No look.
That was like
I need a pass back from somebody. Just I need a back.
That was a back. Muller passed me the ball in the backcourt. I got a backcourt violation. So I mean, I'm gonna start my.
Les, who did you predict for the championships? Who did you say will win the title?
Let me finish.
All right.
Vic, bro, why are you laughing? You. Vic, you as well. Don't walk away. Vic, you as well. Don't walk away. That's your boys too.
I changed my mind. Listen, I changed my mind when I saw these guys. When I saw these guys play. Guys, no, listen.
Les is not.
Les, can you see Chris Prasad? Can you see your boy Chris Prasad?
Let's make a play.
I just wanna let me start.
Let's make a play.
I wanna start by firstly paying
congratulating.
No. It's not congratulating. You need to pay respects to what the Denver Nuggets have done and Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. I'm just paying standard respect.
4 people have spoken. No one has even said that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, it's been incredible. From the beginning of the season, and I made it a point on the day of Game 7 to tweet it again because I wanted to ensure that everyone knows that I'm not shrinking back when the pressure's on. I believed that the LA Clippers were going to be NBA champions, without a shadow of a doubt, I might add. And the series, I think Brian spoke about the Clippers losing big leads. There's a stat that the Clippers apparently lead in the playoffs. They've lost the most leads above 16 points on average across the playoffs since the playoffs began. Right now, this 2020 playoffs, they've actually been Any lead above 60 points, they've lost the most.
Lead by 20. If you want to beat the Clippers, let them lead by 20.
Which is a wild theory. But I think let's start with the culture. I'm a firm believer. I don't know who else subscribes to it. I can talk Paul George. I can talk all these guys and all of this stuff. Kawhi Leonard is the only person that needs to account. Yesterday's game, for me, highlighted it even more. His lack of production. And that wasn't, yesterday wasn't kind of like a beating in a tough game, like a few points in it. It was like, they really beat them. And Kawhi Leonard, like Bulla mentioned, and I think Brian also mentioned, fourth quarter absolutely did not show up. Above and beyond that, throughout the game, the third and fourth quarters of all the games they've lost, he's not played. He hasn't showed up. He hasn't picked his moments right either. He kind of looks like a rookie talented player, which is scary. I don't see too much daylight between what Kawhi Leonard's been doing and Jason Tatum's doing. You'll get production, but it won't be the type of production that delivers a W. It's been like, do you know what I mean? There's players like that, bro. There's guys that you can, like, you watch their production, but it might not always deliver a win. But then there's guys that if they produce, that if they produce, there's a much higher chance that like you'll get a W.
What they both have in common, right? They both don't control the pace or the tempo of the game. Neither of them can bring the ball up and, run an audible or put people in positions to make. They only run off plays run by someone else, Kemba Walker or Paul George or Lou Williams. They wait for the play.
That's a very good call out. Definitely.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's a different tier. And I'm even, let me further let's conclude on Kawhi Leonard now for his legacy.
Not even yet.
No, Brian, what I mean by conclude, I'm trying to place Kawhi Leonard in where his tiers are. And I discussed this at length with someone in this group. Kawhi Leonard's peers, firstly, LeBron James has no peers in the NBA. He has colleagues. He doesn't have peers. The next tier.
I see LeBron's room in my bed.
The next tier is we're gonna have that. They gotta loop that in on the show. The next tier is Kevin Durant, and in my personal opinion, Steph Curry. Kawhi Leonard's peers are, for his legacy, for his life, in my opinion, his peers are Paul Pierce, Carmelo Anthony. Those are his peers, in my opinion, for his career. Those are the highest levels of guys that when all is said and done, I'm gonna ask.
Like disrespecting Carmelo Anthony.
I'd rather take Melo.
I'm gonna ask. Oh no, I know based on the eye test, but when all is said and done, I would put those guys, and I'd be like, these are the guys that I would compare. Kawhi Leonard for me he's absolutely crumbled. I think this is the biggest. People are saying the biggest team failure. What? Yeah, I hear it, but I think it's also one of the biggest failures of a player. The storyline is too dramatic. You were just finals MVP, that great shot against the Sixers. You beat the Warriors, and we gave you all that respect. I think it's the single player biggest meltdown, going from, if we had to consider the context. And
but his demeanor was off, though. Like
his demeanor was off. Energy. Amazing point, Bulla, about the communication thing, an angle I never thought of. When you said that, it made me think about how much I hate playing with guys that don't talk. It's hard to play basketball with guys that don't talk. I don't care how talented you are. It's just hard.
Because you don't know what they're doing, right?
I don't know what you're doing, bro.
Have you seen Kevin Durant?
You know what I mean?
They will shout at you after every single dribble of the ball, boy.
Bro,
not even possession. Every 3 seconds.
Watch Rondo play.
There's not a single successful relationship in the world that can be successful without communication. It just doesn't make sense. So that was an amazing point. Doc Rivers, it's just been 9 years at the helm. Like Chris said, it's just been so long at the helm. It's hard. You've had a lot of talent in multiple places. I don't know if he's as great a coach as we actually think. Doc Rivers really. So for me, but for me, this season is not my criticism for Doc Rivers. I think this was just like cement. Because truth is, if you look back,
you were done since Chris Paul. You were done since Chris Paul in the ball.
Yeah, it's actually bears. But yeah, man. I don't have too much to say about the rest of the team. For me, it was on Kawhi's shoulders. He was. I believed he could have shouldered it before, but he didn't.
This Kawhi mess, I've never liked the dog. I've never since he got into the league. He got into the league.
From this guy heavy, bro.
CK, what do you mean? What has he actually done? If we look at it in totality, right? I have a problem with Finals MVP.
He averages 18 points per game for his career. When I checked that the other day, I was speaking to Bulla. Brian, let me tell you something. I call Bulla. Bulla and I are talking, and I'm like, Bulla, I don't see daylight between two players. It was KD and Kawhi. Then I was like to Bulla, nah, dog, let me actually Google these guys. When I saw Kawhi Leonard averages 18 points per game for his career, that's when I began to late bloomer.
It's not a late bloomer.
That's when I began to
shift.
You're
still in bloom. The bloom ain't coming. So my man joined the San Antonio Spurs, right? Those guys have won 50 games since 1998 or something like. They've won 50 games every single year for 18 years straight. When Kawhi got there, the 150 again. They are the greatest dynasty in all of since basketball was ever put together. They never bought anybody. They never traded up. They homegrown talent. Tim Duncan, Tony P, Bruce Bowen, Manu Ginobili. There's a whole host of guys that just came up in the system. Whatever. They won 50 games before Kawhi got there. He got there. He averaged less than 50. Whatever he did, he played some good defense. He started because they did not want to start Ginobili. Why? Because he was better off the bench. Right? That's the six-man theory. You want him coming off to help the second unit.
Great Pop's vision.
He's just better contributing to the second unit. Not because Kawhi Leonard was better than him. Whatever. He started. Kawhi Leonard in 2014, in the NBA Finals, he had two of the worst games. The first two of those 5 games, he was terrible offensively, but he guarded LeBron James. The last 3 games, he was better. He averaged 17, 6, and 2 for the finals. And he got Finals MVP. For the finals, he got Finals, whatever. He didn't win Finals MVP.
So Brian, I think you should probably let them know that LeBron shot 55% from the field. Just saying that.
LeBron James shot 55% from the field. I didn't even know that, but there's a thing with LeBron James, right? Even when he plays bad, he is the best player on the floor for every single series without a shadow of. I didn't even check LeBron James stats. I didn't even need to check. All I know is that they beat LeBron and them 4-1, and LeBron couldn't get that Finals MVP. It doesn't make mathematical sense. So they gave it to Kawhi Leonard, a guy who's played with a 5-time NBA championship, a 4-time NBA champion, and a 4-time NBA champion. Tim Duncan has 3 Finals MVPs and 2 season MVPs. Tony P has a Finals MVP. They were good without him. You know what I mean? They could have won that series without Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard got that. 2015, right? When Golden State beat the Cavs, Andre Iguodala got Finals MVP for averaging 16, 5, and 4. Steph Curry averaged 26, 5, and 6. You know why he got Finals MVP? Because he defended LeBron James when they lost. Because he defended LeBron James when they lost, he gets the credit for being the most important piece of that. Steph Curry averaged 26, 6, and 5. What do you mean? LeBron James.
Listen, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, I've been setting screens for all you guys. No one's passed the rock to me, so I'm just going to take it over.
Nick,
this is how you play. And this is how you play.
Brian, can you please explain to them about Toronto now? Explain to them about Toronto. I know you're going to Toronto now.
Oh, B, you know I'm getting there. When
keep going, Brian. Keep going. I'll take the screens.
6 and 5. LeBron James averaged 35, 13, and 8. I understand they lost in 6 games. There is nobody more valuable than him to have ever played the game than that man in that 6 games. That is ridiculous. Kyrie fell. Kevin Love fell. The Cavs fell. LeBron James whatever. They lost. Not easy. Give it to Steph Curry. Back to my point. The only reason Kawhi Leonard got that Finals MVP is because he defended LeBron James when they lost. Not because he was playing better than his own teammates. Not because he outplayed them. He got it because he was the primary defender. Because nobody else started in that position. He won it by default. He got Finals MVP because there was an extra starting spot, and he was the tallest, biggest guy with the biggest hands. Whatever. I'm sidetracking. 2018 Raptors, right? 2018 with the Toronto Raptors. Boy, I was still in 2015. I'm done there. 2018, Kawhi Leonard sat down for a whole year. He didn't want to play because he didn't like the system, whatever. He sucked and said he'd fake an injury if you don't trade me. Trade me now.
Killed him, bro. It was attempted murder, bro.
The Spurs tried to hurt him and said, you know what, I want to send you to Canada because it's cold and you'll never do anything without it. I bet. LeBron James happened to leave the conference that same offseason, right? The luckiest thing that could have ever happened to the Toronto Raptors have never beat LeBron James in any of their career. LeBron James has never lost to the Toronto Raptors in a series. It has never ever happened. If you ever being attacked by a dinosaur, call LeBron James. LeBron James, as soon as he went to the Lakers, the Toronto Raptors advanced to the NBA Finals. It is the most ridiculous thing in the world. As soon as LeBron James leaves the conference, they get to the conference finals. They win the conference finals. They get to the NBA Finals. Sharp. That year, before Kawhi Leonard got there, the Toronto Raptors won 59 games. When Kawhi got there and managed some load, they won 58 games. They won less games than before they had him. They were second in the East without Kawhi. They were second in the East with Kawhi. Kawhi left this year, second in the East again. Did they really actually need him? This whole year, I've been saying they don't need Kawhi because they've been doing good without him. They're in the same position without him. I bit my tongue earlier in the playoffs when the Raptors lost to Boston in, I think it was 4 games, right? I said they needed a star. I watched Toronto.
No, they went to 7.
I watched the Clippers. They went to 7, sure. When I watched the Clippers yesterday, I take it back because the Clippers also needed a star. There was nothing Kawhi Leonard could have done for them anyway. You know what I mean? I take back what I took back. Anyway, back to the Raptors.
It's a double back.
I double back on the John because
Brian,
what I said, I didn't say what I said.
Pass that rock. Speed it up or pass that rock.
Vic, take the ball, dog. Vic, take the ball.
Listen,
take the ball,
Brian,
I got too much more to say.
Very personal with this thing, eh?
100%.
He's a fraud.
Listen. It's a build-up. You know what? It's a narrative. And I'm going to go back to the narrative. It's a build-up of that whole Lakers Clippers from the beginning of the season after they acquired Paul George and all that stuff.
It's the hype.
It's the hype and everything else. But I just want to go back. There's 2 things that you've all touched. You've touched the coach. And I look at the coach as a piece of a unit, right? And I think that the blame sitting on you with Doc Rivers, you've got assistant coaches of the level of Tyronn Lue and Sam Cassell. And if you look at the Lakers coaches, you also have some amazing coaches sitting in that group of coaches. So I think Doc Rivers messed up somehow by some of the decision making that he did throughout the series, and even before this series when they were playing against the Dallas Mavericks, where they were really struggling. I just think that team was just tired. I mean, I've said it a few times. The energy level wasn't there.
Is this the Clippers you say they're tired?
Yeah, the Clippers just
They took half the season off.
Oh, man.
They took half the season off.
Man.
How can they be tired?
And the Nuggets went to Game 7 the series.
The Nuggets just went to Game 7 and Nikola Jokic.
Vic, you're giving them an excuse, Vic.
Guys, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. But I think that there's a fitness issue there. Because if I look at how good the defending of the Nuggets was on Paul George, on Kawhi, it was these guys were always in their faces. And whenever Paul George or Kawhi was driving to the rim, you would have 3 or 4 guys from the Nuggets. I'm not giving them an excuse. I just think there's an issue there in terms of the conditioning. It's not that but that's what I'm saying. So we go back to the coaches.
Vic,
it's not just Doc Rivers.
I can tell you the answer to that. It's not conditioning. It's lack of reps. You've got individual defenders who never play in a system. So the guys won't back each other up.
It's a lack of heart.
Listen, they were saying these guys were dogs. They were saying these guys were dogs, right? From the beginning of the season, these guys have the best defensive player, blah, 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 blah.
Have ever been put together, just on paper. When you look at Trey, you look at Pat Bev, you look at Paul. But when they play together,
right? Number one, we're talking about some of the biggest dogs, some of the greatest, most aggressive players in the league. What if you look at their defense? You can't exactly. Do you see a system?
There's nothing. Guys, there's nothing there.
There's no system. So for me, this is why I've gone off to Doc Rivers, because think about it this way. They were 3-1 up, right? Everybody's going after them for game 7, but they lost how many games in a row to get to this game 7? They needed one win.
They should have
How
lost
many chances did they have to do that? And they didn't, because Bulla mentioned it a few times. What adjustments have you seen from Doc? Like, in terms of the systems that he's implemented here, there's nothing. D'Antoni can go, you can burn him, but he's created a system and you can say, this is what you get from him. What has Doc Rivers brought?
So Chris,
how come you guys only notice that there's no system
finals game
now?
Loss.
And what about Antetokounmpo? Did Antetokounmpo not have a system? What about Antetokounmpo? There's no system because the coach couldn't get him to get into the lane.
I don't want to ever hear that
system.
guy.
The most important thing that I think Bulla once said about these Clippers, they didn't trust the process, bro. They put these guys together and said, "You are good."
Yeah,
you guys
it's almost like the
Galacticos.
Right.
They did the same thing with the Lakers, but not really, dog. The Lakers had LeBron James was with the Lakers for 2 years. The system was there before they brought in AD. You know what I mean? It wasn't as big an adjustment as losing.
The system wasn't there, but the culture was there.
But LeBron James was there for a little bit of a while, right? One that just LeBron James had got there, and also LeBron James and AD are easier to put together into anything and have them move on together.
The right example might be the 2011 Miami Heat. The 2011 Miami Heat, their first season was
100%,
and then they put together a system and they killed it.
Guys, we've got 4 minutes left.
Yeah, all good. We've got 4 minutes. I can close in 4 minutes. Listen, so from a coach's perspective, there's some dodgy issues. I would probably get rid of Doc because, you can't recover this. And they're all talking about, no, we'll keep the team together. It's not championship or bust. For me, it's championship or bust. They'll keep him because Steve Ballmer just likes him. He's a good motivator. He talks a lot of good stuff. But for me, I think they need someone else. And they are going to lose players. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that they're going to keep the same guys. Especially if they've traded their future for a guy that's struggling mentally. It's just one of those where Paul George just needs to come back and focus on what he loves doing, which is basketball. So
he must come back. What about all the other years he didn't show up? Where must he come back from?
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I mean, I just think he just needs to wake up. From a Nuggets perspective, guys, that team will surprise a lot of guys, and they really got some good pieces. I like their energy. Honestly, I just watch the energy, the coach's energy, the chemistry is there.
Can I say something, fellas, about these Nuggets? Here's the thing: this happened with the Blazers. This happened.
No. Listen, they're not going to compete against the Lakers.
Behind twice,
bro. Yeah,
they're not.
Listen,
Chris, they're not going to compete against the Lakers.
What are you guys saying about?
They're not going to compete against the Lakers because. No, listen, they're going to give the Lakers some issues, but the difference here is the Lakers have AD who can match Jokic. That's fact. And their defense is actually one of the best currently in the bubble. So I just want to see what they're doing. And it's almost like the Lakers lose first game just to sass out the opposition. That's it.
It doesn't work like that. We don't lose by choice.
But anyway, let me pass it back to Leslie.
Gentlemen, I mean, I look. It's this game 7 was wild. It changed. I think the whole outlook on the playoffs. I would like to say as an official disclaimer from my end and all my subsidiaries that if the LA Lakers win this championship, there will be no asterisks. I don't know if I carry enough power that means something, but I would just like to officially declare that. Speak to your boy. Speak to your boy, Bulla. Anyway, thank you for joining us on Nothing But Net. We'll catch up with you guys after our Game 1 of the Western Conference, Game 2 of the Eastern Conference. Like, subscribe, follow us. We'll see you guys later.